Wow, January. January is dead in the middle right now. We had a full moon in Leo, and whoa. And now we're dealing with the moon in Virgo, and I am ill prepared, but I think that's why I'm awake right now and doing what I'm doing, because I think my sleep schedule is like flipping. Hey, cool beans, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. I'm literally just like hotboxing the car right now because my period is bumping and I want to rage. I have so much rage in me right now. I'm feeling so grr. But I'm trying to remember that our anger loves us. Our anger knows when we've been disrespected. Our anger is out here, you know? What up, princess? I hope you're doing well. Oh, you're not doing well? Bitch, talk about it. Uplift it. You got two cavities? Oh, but you know what? I've actually been doing research on remineralizing teeth. If you want to reach out to me on Instagram, I'm going to send you some information because I definitely have had a cavity before. I've had an extraction before. I've had a crown put on before. So I've got some information for you if you want it. What up, Noe? Hope you're doing well. Are you playing a new game this week? Let us know what's going on with the playing journey. But yeah, no, I'm just kind of sitting in Capricorn season, just like, whoa. I'm so ready for Aquarius season to come. Like my Venus sign like needs Aqua season so bad. Aqua season, hear me. Hear my cry. Oh my god, Capricorn season is just so fun. You know what? Here's the thing about Capricorn season that I know I'll appreciate it at some point, but it's just the revelations. It's the oldest sign, meaning that like we are the end of the zodiac in ways. Like we are the final, we're the finale. And so the year actually starts in, or like the actual like earth, like the year is beginning in actually April. So April people, y'all are really the signal of like the new year. But this time of the year, you're just kind of like getting hit with all the like things that you've known that you like might have just not wanted to deal with. They're coming up, things that you've been watching going badly, just not paying attention, or even paying attention and not thinking it was that serious. Just, coming to realizations abruptly, suddenly, or just knowing the entire time, but not really having to deal with it until. Ooh, has it been fun? I've never played Monster Hunter, so I know nothing about it, but I imagine you're hunting monsters. I'm wondering if it's like a Frankenstein situation. Oh, we're just doing a little podcast today because I'm sitting in the car. I also like low key my look today. I look like I definitely sell weed at the park. And the way my outfit is set up, like I feel like this outfit would actually be found on a Caucasian lesbian with fake dreads. Like I really feel like the outfit that I put together, I only put it together because I wanted to take care of business myself, and I didn't want to like try and organize like a whole situation. I was like, let me go take care of things. And like, I'm gonna be real with you. It's been really a blessing to have a partner. Because real talk, he be having to go out because of his job. So like I don't have to leave the house that often. And so it's nice to not leave your house for a long time, but it can be really disorienting. And so again, getting back to what I was saying, like Capricorn season is just so like, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, that makes sense why that would be happening now. Like just very much like, okay, and that is what okay. All right. What is the purpose of the live? We're just having a good time, Bradley. It's okay. My Insta is the same name as on here, Nine said. So Nines. AID. I don't think there's two S's. I think there's just one. Excuse me. But yeah, no, listen, if you're not appreciating the live, that is okay. One thing that I want to just impress is that being with people doing nothing is actually a part of healing. And some of us do not have physical community. I'm gonna hang out with my friend tonight after Dane goes to work, and I'm so excited for Ren to come over. They're one of the mods here, and we're gonna hopefully just sip on some tea and talk. They did a mushroom trip recently. I'm really excited to hear about how that went for them. They actually made some mushroom ice cubes based on my recommendation, which I'm really excited about. And yeah, so again, like hanging out with people and doing fucking nothing, having no plot, no agenda, that's actually really important for all of us. It can be really hard to go to big events. It can be hard to put money into big events or putting your clothes on to go do this or that. And so, with that being said, I invite you to come here with your underwear on, in your silliest home outfit, in your, after work, whatever, and just exist. You don't have to exist fully here. You can just be laughing in the background. Or if you want to share some stuff, please feel free. But the ability to just exist on an online space and not be expected to contribute, that can be really hard. And so, with that being said, I also want to acknowledge like there's just so much going on right now, y'all. There's so much to talk about. I don't want to do too much though. I genuinely just want to get high and just talk about silly little things, and just be on some other shit. Because again, I am typically the character that is, you know, just really pouring into all these things going on, and I'm trying to just really tap into the wisdom of the season we're in. We're in winter. Rest is more important than ever. Being able to put on cozy clothes and stay warm and moisturize. This is a terrible time for calluses, terrible time for cuticles overgrowing, ingrown toenail times. It's definitely a time where, the swimmer ear girls get a little bit of a breakiana. A lot's going on. So I just want to take time to have a little space in the middle of the internet where you can pull out your hot Cheetos and just really exist. And no, these aren't hot Cheetos in my hand right here, but they are some turtles. You know what I mean? The chocolate caramel pecan joints. Yes, God. They are so fucking good. I have not seen them in a little bit and was excited. Well, I bet I don't go out my house. So I went to the store today and I got some candy, which is really fucking exciting because again, candy be so fucking expensive today, but I feel like I did okay. You know what I mean? I feel like for what it cost me to get all these candies, because I got more than one, I feel like it was okay, but my goodness, my fucking goodness, bitch, like, woo, we got people talking about general strikes. We got people on Red Note learning Mandarin. I love it here. It's so silly. What a fucking beautiful time to be alive, huh? Really don't know what's coming next. Really don't know who doing what. Bitch, I've been wanting a fucking hot link for a minute. Like, I just been like sliced the long way, right? Fried hard, bitch. With some sauerkraut. I don't know what kind of cheese. Maybe a provolone. And a good fucking Italian bun, bitch. Like, I just want something spicy as fuck, meaty, and Italian. What up, Ryan? Hey, nerd clusters. 6 for 2 packs. I'm gonna be real, like, that seems affordable compared to what other things have been. Do you feel me? If it sounds affordable, please let me know what you was paying before. I don't know. Like, I just feel like I hate how I feel these days trying to buy stuff. Cause I'd be like, how much was it last year? Like, I'd be like, I want to know how much I was charging 2 years ago. And it's like, bitch, that don't matter because they're not going to tell you. Like, it's the way, bitch, it's the way you go to a store these days and they done scratch the motherfucking prices off of everything. Y'all notice that shit? Every time I go somewhere, I notice the price that was there is gone, bitch. Now everything priceless. Now you go to the fucking Rap and they just scanning shit and typing in shit. I'm like, girl, y'all are really wow. Okay. All right. Like, it's the way, bitch. It's the way we gotta do something. We gotta figure out a general store or something, bitch. Somebody. Well, let's start a farm immediately because they're playing games. They really scratching fucking price tags off shit on the walls. I'm like, ma'am, all you see is .99 now. You don't see the beginning of it. I'm like, oh wow, okay. So I fucking hate going to the store now because I feel like I'm getting scammed every time. It is. It is. It is. It is. It really is. And you know what? I've been telling my friends, I'm like, bitch, when I go to the self checkout, I just stack shit on top of itself. Like, if I get Oreos, bitch, I'm getting 2 packs, bitch, and I'm scanning it like it's one. Fuck everybody, girl. I'm never putting it on the belt. I'm fucking scanning it with the gun and I'm going, ma'am. Like, fuck everybody. Like, I'm not playing nice. Hell no. Hell fucking no, bitch. Like, I literally almost stole some Dubai chocolate today from the store. But I was like, you know what? This would be a terrible time to get arrested. Like, right the fuck now would be so shitty to be snatched up. So I'm not gonna do it. But, bitch, it's the way I've been feeling tempted. And then on top of that, girl, I feel like I wasn't gonna say nothing about what happened with the wood shop lady, but I'm gonna just talk about it because honestly, the whole shit was crazy. So, like I said, I met this white bitch who was doing tarot, and she was telling me about how she had just got disability, and so she was trying to take a break from her job as a tarot card reader. I was like, that sounds exciting as fuck. And she was like, bitch, you should come by and see if you can maybe read tarot at the witch's shop. I'm like, bet, that sounds cool. So I come through, I meet the girlie who runs it. We just gonna call her motherfucking Amina. And me and Amina was getting along pretty cool. She was a Capricorn stellium as well. But I really did not know all the way, like, about how she was gonna be until there was a moment where she has said to me something a lot, like she has said something. She was talking about her son, and she has said something, and then she's called him the N word with the soft A, and I literally looked at her perplexed, and I was just very confused why she was saying that word. And she popped out and was just like, well, she's like, I'm black. And I just looked at her for a minute. And then she started being like, well, I'm Puerto Rican and, we're part Taino. Like, she really started breaking down why she could say the N word with the soft A. And I literally looked at her just like bewildered because I'm just not buying it. And I'm trying to tell her, like, I was like, I really don't think that that's a word you should be saying. And her energy was very much like, I don't care. And so I noted that, but I was like, maybe I can try again. And in retrospect, I'm gonna give myself a little bit of grace for assuming that I would get another moment to like actually talk to this bitch about what she's talking about. But the next moment was actually worse than the first one because she started talking about and see, I was trying to explain to her like why she should not be saying certain words and how she's actually a mixed person and she's a whole mixed person. She's not a fraction of blackness. Like, I'm literally trying to humanize her. And she starts talking about how she tried to get some tarot cards from this black woman. And she's like, oh, this black woman had made these tarot cards and she told me that, she don't sell to white people. And I told her that I'm black. And she said, why don't sell to black folk like yourself? And she took it very personally. And she was really trying to drag this lady to me. And I was just like, I was like, it sounds like she's setting a boundary. It sounds like she has a desire on who she wants to be using her magical tools. I was like, I'm not really sure why that's a problem. I was like, a lot of deep dark skinned people are being more candid because it's necessary, but not because they haven't always been trying to say this stuff. And I'm trying to impress to her that, like, you're learning something new and you're trying to push back on it, but like, this is a moment. And instead of her hearing me, she decided to tell me that she believes that deep dark skin folk hate us. And the way she said it, it was kind of like, what do you mean? Like, I literally like squinted at her and I said, I'm not sure what you mean. She's like, they don't really like us. And I was like, what do you mean? And so with that being said, I feel like after that day, I decided to tell her I was sick and I just didn't show up because I'm like, girl, I don't know what to say now. Like, I really want to cuss you out, but I also feel like when I was talking, like, see, here's the other thing. Before that whole combo, she was talking to me about how she had buried some cattle bones somewhere and had fed a demon or some shit and was talking about she had a demon situation. And I was just like, bitch, I just want to get away from you. Because, like, I've already tried to do it softly. I feel like if I go any harder, you might try to do a spell on me or some weird shit. and you're sloppy and you're over here feeding demons. Like, that's the last thing I want in my life. So I just got away from her. But then there was a moment where I was like, you know what? Like, fuck that. Like, you should tell her exactly how you feel. You should just be super fucking direct. And if she don't fuck with it, that's fine. But don't like just skirt around the fact that like she is being an op and she is being dangerous. And so I decided I was going to talk to her face to face. Like, I was really like, fuck it. Like, I'm going to do this. I don't want to perform like I don't want to pretend anymore with her and make it seem like I'm just disappearing from her. On top of that, I want to say before I even thought about talking to her, what really made me talk to her, to be candid, someone that I barely knew reached out to me on her behalf and was saying that she had missed me and was like, "Oh, Amina misses you." And I'm looking at the text message from the person that's not Amina, and I'm like, "Oh, this bitch triangulating people." Like, oh, she's trying to get people involved in the fact that I haven't seen her. That's weird as fuck. And so I wanted to say something to her, but then I was like, nah. I'm like, come up with what the fuck you gonna say to her, like for real, because we can't just be like reacting to this. She wants that. She wants me to react to some random person reaching out to me about our relationship. I don't want to give her that reaction. I would like to hear her and I want to communicate with her. I don't want to respond. I want to hear her. I want to listen to hear and not respond. And so my plan was to just communicate with her directly because I'm like, oh, you bringing people into this shit and it's getting weird. And I told the girl who reached out to me, I was like, well, I haven't been feeling the best. And she's like, that's okay. She still misses you. And I'm like, okay, but like I said, I'm not feeling the best. None of y'all are checking on me. I'm not sure why that wasn't happening, but that doesn't really matter. I just want to note that like not one of them checked on my ass when I said I was had COVID. And to be clear, I did not fucking have COVID. But it still don't matter, bitch. Like I said I wasn't feeling good and bitch didn't give a fuck. So I was like, well, so when she asking people to seemingly reach out to me, I'm like, I'm just gonna tell her directly like why I'm not fucking with her. So I told her I was gonna be there. No, bitch, actually, listen. So I had an idea to go talk to her. She hits me up randomly and tells me that the girlie that works there wasn't going to be able to show up. I asked her, when do you want me to come? Because in my mind, I'm like, this is me deciding to set boundaries with her in a real way. Because I'm not going to just show up there and just be there. I want her to let me know what she wants. Because she had been kind of flimsy as a boss. And I also want to be candid. I was getting paid per reading. Had I not had people that wanted readings from me that was willing to pay me for the readings, that bitch was not going to pay me. So I want to be candid that when you saw me in her shop, I was there waiting to get money from other people, never from her. So I want to also lay the scene that I was there for free. And she also expected me to be handing out her business card, telling people that I worked there on Thursdays. Like she clearly wanted to hold me a little bit. And so when I was talking to her, I'm saying to myself, you already had somebody reach out to me. You're already moving kind of shady. You already are being anti-black as fuck. Like there's a lot of things for me to say to you. And now you're asking me to work for you. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, you want something from me. I'm going to make you tell me exactly how it's going to go down. In the midst of everything, I'm trying to go get an Uber and like things are going weird. I didn't realize there was a snowstorm in the midst, but that don't really matter. I text her being like, hey, I'm about to be like 7 minutes late. I'm like, my Uber was acting stupid. She's like, I could have came and got you. That right there, honestly, was a moment because I'm like, not you know that I'm around the corner and you dropped me off to my house before. Like this is another moment where it's like, yeah, and I said I was sick and you was around the corner and you still didn't give a fuck. So it was just like a bunch of things that's like, yeah, you don't really give a shit about me or my time, my energy, my labor. So I feel like I'm just basically going up over there to tell you like why I don't fuck with you. My plan was to go up in there and just to let her know like how I'm feeling and just to let her know like I'm glad that she appreciates my work and wants me to work here, but like she's not offering me much. And then on top of it, there's not a lot of community around her offering. So I'm kind of good. Bitch, do you know when I text her that I was on my way and the Uber was late or whatever, she gonna hit me with, I could have came and got you. I said, you're good. I said, it's not looking good out here anyway, so I'm glad you stayed inside. Why the bitch gonna text me back, you're right, just stay home. Sweetie, I'm there at that point. That's how close I live to the shop. I like in within like a 6 minutes, a 6 response text, I was there. And we were not texting for more than 5 to 6 minutes. So keep that in mind. So she gonna tell me to stay home, bitch. I'm hearing the sirens outside. from the ambulance. And I'm just laughing because I'm like, yeah, she really want like some standoff or some issue and I don't care. So I just walked the fuck away. She gonna text me talking about something, where are you? I said, sweetie, I was like, when I told you I was gonna be 7 minutes away, that was 7 minutes ago. Meaning when you told me that I shouldn't come, I was already there. She goes, duh. And then I was sitting here like, what? So I just kept on ignoring the text after that. And she gonna talk about some, where are you? I'm about to close up the shop. Doo-doo-doo. So I'm sitting here like, not you about to close up the shop, but you asked me to come in and work today and you weren't offering me any money, and it's a fucked up ass snowy ass day, you would think that the best thing to do would be to maybe make sure that I had some money in my pocket, some food in my belly, maybe a drink, a rune, a marble, a colorful crystal, something. Because, sweetie, I just took a fucking Uber to come and work, and now you're saying there's no work, and you're saying shit like I could have came and picked you up. Girl, I know, but you weren't offering that. Why would I fucking ask? Again, I just don't think that she's really thinking too deeply when it comes to me, and that's just fine. But when she was talking about, where are you? I just sat there and was like, I'm not even about to reply because it feels like she wants to have an issue with me so fucking bad. And all I wanted to do was work in a witch's shop. I don't care about her that deeply. I wanted to build a relationship because of my desires to read tarot. So now she moving weird. I'm like, I don't give a shit no more. So I ended up just going home. And Dane had asked me before I went out there. Dane was like, do you want me to like hang around? Because like his energy was like, I don't think you're going to make it through the whole session, the whole shift. And it's like, of course I'm not. I'm going there to tell her like how I feel. And if she ready to hear it, cool. If she not, she's not. But I want to say the next day I hit her up and was like trying to talk to her on the phone and was like, hey girl, I was like, what happened? Like you kind of, I was like, I didn't really like how everything went down like yesterday. The bitch that ass hung up on me. And I was just like, that is hilarious. Like, I've been really trying to figure out how to get through to her that, she's behaving anti-black. She's being fucking weird. Like, she being very, like, slave master-esque when it comes to her business. She's not really offering people any money despite calling them to do labor in her shop. And, like, the thing is, I know I'm a Capricorn as well. Sometimes we just be wanting company, and I get it. But like you're wanting labor with that company, so you do need to pay. And I just feel like she was doing a lot of things that, again, as a Capricorn, I get it. Like she was generous in ways, sure, but her generosity definitely had a limit. And I think like when you're asking people to do like I remember me and her went to an event together. She want to ask me if I want to go to an event with her. I'm like, sure. So I went to the event and I was giving people free readings if they bought shit from her. And there were people that didn't buy nothing from her that were just like, can I just get a reading from you? Can I just pay you for a reading? I'm like, bet. And at some point she said to me, she's like, I don't know why more people don't do free readings. And I'm like, bitch, because it's costing energy. Like some people really don't want to give away their gifts for free. I understand that. Like, I just feel like just because somebody's operating outside of capitalism don't mean everybody can. Like, I feel like that's the thing about it. It's like I've definitely had the ability to do shit outside of capitalism because I was being supported, not because I'm special. Like, it takes support to give support, and people really forget that. And so when folks aren't offering their magical gifts for free, people really will make a mention that, like, oh, I don't know why people don't give more. It's like, girl, like, I feel like that's the other thing about it. That's the ego in some other people. When you're reading tarot, it's not about you. Like, that's the thing. Like, reading tarot, not about you. It's about the other person, but they're using your body as the conduit for spirit to share. And so, with that being said, I understand why people say, like, yes, I need something for that. I need money for food to replenish my energy that is being utilized. I get that indeed. But we definitely live in a world where people will say to someone that they're exploiting, oh, I don't know why more people don't just let themselves get exploited. Shut your ass up. And then I noticed that the white bitch that introduced me to her, and now she unblocked me, and now she unfollowed me and shit. And the shit that's funny to me is like, it's a small ass town, bro. Like, I don't live nowhere big, bitch. I live in a little ass town, bro. And so it's just funny to me that like bitches want to block people and do all this shit when it's like, sweetie, Sweetie, most people would have hit you with a contract. I was over here offering to like work with you just on a provisional basis because it's like we don't know each other like that. Why would I want to lock myself into a contract with you? Like just because you want to work with me don't mean the same thing. But like I said, my desire in the end was just to tell her like, your behavior is wayward, but I hate to say this, but she has enough people around her that are not white that accept her behavior. So I hate to say that, but it's the truth. Like that's why it don't matter what I say to her. Like that's why she could do how she do to me, cause she knows there's a black elder that will like literally hold her mixed self as a black person, and like she don't gotta listen to me. And I didn't want her to listen to me. I wanted her to just consider, you're moving weird as fuck, and like you're owning a whole business. Like you do not like, bitch. You're a person in the community. Like people come to you to like do events. Like you really want to be like exploiting labor. Like people like right now the community trusts you. Like people don't go into a fucking Walmart and be like, "Will you come to this event?" Mm-mm. Like I seen people come into her shop trying to see if like she'll support them in magical motherfucking activities and experiences. So it's like, sweetie, it's like it would behoove you to listen to somebody that literally is just trying to share with you so that you don't fucking be out here looking ashy, but she don't care. I could tell she don't care. Her shop is in Ann Arbor. It's called Luna Gallery. I'm gonna just say what it is, because like again, if you're in Detroit area, Michigan area, Ann Arbor, excuse me, Ypsilanti, whatever. Like, don't go there, bitch. And honestly, I'm gonna be real with you. There's so many other shops like Bloodroot. Like, here's the thing: Bloodroot and Herb. I told them. Like, that's another thing too. There was a white bitch that I lived with, and I feel like this is an old ass story, but I feel like I was posting more on Instagram when I was living with that white lady, in October. But I started going through like my Instagram because like on my Instagram I have some live videos on there, and like when I was in Hazel Park, which is outside of Detroit. I was living with this white bitch named Heather Hall, and her mother owned the house, and her mother basically was trying to rent out a room. But like in retrospect, on some Anne with the E type shit, and honestly, it's a good ass show. But it is triggering if you've ever been like in foster care or adopted or just had people that were guardians that were shitty. That shit can be hard to watch. But it was very much like they wanted to rent the room to someone that would provide labor. Yeah, her name is Luna. Like, it's unfortunate because she, again, at first she seemed cool as fuck. I feel like Gemini, the Capricorn energy can be so fucking cool, but in the end, I think that she's just an exploiter, and I think that she has enough. As I said, she tapped in with a couple hoodoo girlies and voodoo girlies, and I'll be real with you, I do think that like I mean no condemnation to anybody who fuck with her. I don't care that deeply. What I'm trying to offer though is that I think that like there are people that are probably like, just getting support from her in a particular way and therefore providing something for her, because I feel like should be symbiotic, you know what I mean? Like I feel like the white passings know who to go to get the support that they want, and vice versa, if that makes sense. Like I think that she's offering support to some people that are valuable to her, and I think I was a brown face that was no longer valuable to her, because I'm telling her things that are making her feel disconnected from people she exploits. So she's like, no, 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 no. Don't you see I'm black? So it's okay when I exploit these black people. And it's like, no, 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 no. You're not black. And so you should think more deeper about your behavior. And she can't have me around. Because if I'm around, then I'm going to see what she's doing and I'm going to comment on it. Like, I made a couple comments and I could tell she was mad. Like, she got mad because I said fuck in front of some people. And it's like, girls, a witch's shop. You can't say fuck. That's crazy as hell. But again, I do not know this bitch like that. I thought I could know her. I thought I could be cool with her. But in retrospect, I think that she's more interested in being a master. She wants to be a master. And I've had a lot of like white Latinos recently just like pop out and just try to tell me that they're black and that they're native. And it's like, sweetie, please. Like, what is it called? Like La Raza or some shit. Bettering the race, some shit like that. Somebody knows what it's called, but I know what the fuck is going on. I see what's happening. But it's a lot of white Latinos like acting a fool. It's like, sweetie, your hair is curly. That's it. Please stop. Please stop. You have some curly hair. Like, please. They're like, it's like, yo, type 2C, bitch. Them type 2Cs, bro. Them 2Cs be bugging. No, honestly, it's very much Princess Nokia energy. And here's the thing, like when Princess Nokia first came out, like I dead ass was like thinking she was dope. And she really made me think about like race and like you know what I mean? Like I feel like that, again, that's the whole point of us mixed people is to make people consider like, there can be more types of black. Like I hate to say that, but that's the whole fucking point. It's not about creating a reality where like there are black people and mixed people and white people and there are some people who we may think are black or white, but they're neither. And like again, it's just like again the construct of race, the construct, and then the actual ramifications of it. It's a lot, bitch. But motherfucking the Latinos, whoa, the Cardi B's are bugging, bitch. And I've been seeing a lot of people talk about Cardi B recently. She's been going on spaces. I am not a hater of Cardi B. I genuinely don't think about her very much. I'm glad that she got away from Offset. That's a beautiful thing. But outside of that, I just want them babies protected, bitch. That's all I care about now. I'm like, just take care of the kids. Like, that's all I want. Just take care of little culture and the other one and the one that's just inside of you maybe just got born. I don't know, babe. All I know is you got three. Take care of them three, babe. Take care of them three because Offset is looking crazy. My God. Like, can you imagine? Like, she really carried that man for years. Ah! I'm not about to be madder than her, but I'm just saying, like, woo, it could be hard to watch some of this shit because she's so fucking outspoken. But as an outspoken bitch that's been played before, let me not, because I think that that's the thing about it. Like you be so outspoken, and that's why they choose you, bitch. I feel like that's the thing about it. Us outspoken bitches, us fucking anxious attachment having hoes. Because let's be fucking so for real. Like I feel like Cardi B be talking about, she'll beat a man up, she'll rob a man, do, she'll drug a man, and I just feel like at the end of the day, like sure. But the man that need to get beat up and drugged, like, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's ironic. Like, Belcalis used to be so much harder on these hoes. And now that she's a mother, she being soft on them. Because, like, her talking about Offset jealous of her, it's like, I bet. I fucking bet. Jealous of her and the babies. Because the baby's going to have a longer career than him. Like, isn't that tragic? Like, you have a baby and your baby career is longer than yours. Already, bitch. Just from the womb, just the birth announcement was bigger than any shit that you ever did. Like, isn't that sick? I know he's probably really sick. Like, anything big that he ever did, it was connected with fucking Migos, bitch. Let's be real. And, like, bro, where are the Migos? You know what I mean? Rest in peace. Rest in peace. I know. Is it Take? I'm so sorry. Rest in peace to the one that had passed. I mean, no shade. Because I really did like the Migos. But I'm just saying, like, Offset has done nothing seemingly since, he impregnated Cardi. And I feel the same way about Mr. ASAP Rocky. Bitch, they are dragging Rihanna right now. Did y'all see that? Y'all probably didn't because I feel like it's in the Interior Illusions Lounge. But basically, ASAP Rocky and Rihanna aren't married, which I genuinely hate this conversation, especially when the woman is making more money than the man. I'm like, why y'all want her caught up? Right now, she might owe him a couple months of rent. like, bitch. But apparently, like, ASAP Rocky, attorney called her a common law wife. That is awkward as fuck, bitch. Not a common law, Ree. Ooh, damn, ASAP. Mm-mm. Fuck. Man, I used to love Flacco. My God. What has happened? What has happened? I don't know. I don't know too much about what's going on with ASAP Rocky trial. I just feel like the girls are really trying to eat Rihanna up because she don't got a ring. Meanwhile, in my humblest opinion, thank God. You know what I mean? Thank God. Like, that means that she could tell the truth. That means she could keep it a fucking buck. You know what I mean? And stay out the motherfucking prisons her damn self. I'm glad she ain't beholden to no motherfucking spousal confidentiality bullshit. Mm-mm. Nope. Because that's one thing about it. It's like Rihanna's going to be good without Rocky. Rocky, I don't know. Like, I feel like Rocky wasn't thinking about his life because that's crazy. Imagine being ASAP Rocky and fumbling your own bag, sweetie. All you had to do was get straight backs and be quiet. Like, that's sad. That's sad, huh? I'm really shook right now. Like, imagine all you had to do was get straight backs and be quiet. Mm-mm-mm. Fuck. I know he was the prototype for Fenty hair. I know he was getting swaddled in the avocado oils. I know she was putting motherfucking sweet pea oil on that motherfucker head. Mm-mm-mm. I just know they were all glossed down with the coconut oils from actual cocoa nuts. And Rocky really fucked all that up. That is so tragic. Like, I've never really felt bad for a sugar baby that lost their motherfucking sugar. But you know what, Rocky? I just feel like I hate it had to be you, bitch, because I ain't never heard you did nothing. You just seem like a motherfucker that wanted to look cute and just have some money. And look at you doing too much. My God, imagine shooting a gun and you have Rihanna and two little babies. My God. Woo! I did not see Rihanna being a common law wife in 2025, bitch. I didn't see it. I also didn't see Rocky fucking up the good pussy. I didn't see that either. Mm-mm. I saw them have another baby though. I saw that. Mm-hmm. Sure did. But a crime, a common law. Mm-mm. I wouldn't have seen that coming. Definitely not. Also, apparently, now that a bunch of people are leaving TikTok for Red Note, which is the Asian alternative, I want to say. Apparently, a lot of American people are like, we should probably move to China, which is funny as hell to me because it's like, bro, like, imagine thinking you should move to China off of an app. America is so silly. Like, they stay doing silly things, but there's a part of me that wonders, is it about being silly? Like, there's a tiny part of me that's like, what if this was actually the plan all along? Like, what if we're thinking that we're winning something, but the idea is to get people out of America? Like, I really wonder. Genuinely, because people say that they want to come here and this is the worst country now and do 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 do. And it's like, don't get me wrong, like, I'm sure. Like, I feel like that's the thing about this country that I feel like people might not want to talk about. It's like this country got it if you're anti-black. And I feel like that's maybe why people are on the exodus more than anything. Is like the people that come here, I feel like that's where I'm at now. The people that immigrate to America, those people are really thinking that this might be something. And if we're aware that this is a colonized ass place, and that people are leaving where they're from to come here to do what exactly? Stand on the backs of the enslaved, of the descendants of the enslaved. Like what are they really coming here for? I think at this point, showing anybody another place that had affordable groceries, like, sweetie, why wouldn't we want to all go? Excuse me, but here's my thing. Most of us haven't, like, we don't know how to leave. I think that that's the thing. It's like when you only know America, like, I think it could be quite intimidating. I think, like, for everybody that comes here to live here and assimilate here, I don't think we really think about how deep that is, you know? And again, I'm not saying not everybody. I'm sure some people are thinking about it, but it's like for the amount of people that come here to be existing in this anti-black place and like want to take advantage of it and like see something to take advantage, clock that. Because again, it wasn't white people making this place advantageous. Here's the thing. I didn't live in Canada, but I visited a few times. I definitely stayed out there for a little bit. I remember I visited with Christopher's friend. Like, Christopher had a friend who lived out there. And then not excuse me, not Christopher, my first partner, Andrew. Yikes. Had a friend that lived out there and we visited them for a little bit, and I enjoyed the French energy. I like poutine, shit is tasty. But if I'm being super candid, I feel like I don't know. I feel like my friend that I'm visiting with tonight, the one that's also a mod here, Ren, they really inspired me the other day. They were like, I got more work to do here. And it really just hit me. Like, because again, I know that there are a lot of black women who are like, I'm resting, fuck helping everybody. I love that. I just want to put that out there that, like, I do not think for one second anybody black, especially any black woman, should be doing more of anything. I think, like, I genuinely don't sit here thinking that, oh man, black women need to step it up. Like, what the fuck? Hell no. With that being said, though, there are some black women that are like, bitch, I still see the way to do more. And I'm grateful for them, but I'm also like holding that, like, nobody black should have to do a damn thing about anti blackness. It's not their job. And so, again, all of the activism that black folks do at this point really does stress me out because there are young children who already know. Like, I've seen like the writings from like young black teenagers who are like, why is this on me? Why do I need to do a damn thing? What was the point of all the activism in this age, this age, this age? And again, as an elder, I'm trying to pay attention to what the children are saying because, again, they're going to run up. Like, I feel like that's the thing. Like, I'm not trying to be alarmist, but it's like at some point, bro, it's like we were sedated by like Jersey Shore, the OC. Like, they played us music. They gave us access to drugs and like tasty little cigarettes that tasted good, that were electronic. Like, think about it. Like, they gave us so much stuff to like not beat their ass. Like, I want you to consider that like January 6th, like that's a big deal. We must talk about January 6th. We must, because it's a big deal. I know we're like, oh, the tiki torches that are, but it's like, dude, when white people run up, like we have to consider the history. They do not really know they don't know struggle. You know what I mean? They don't know struggle. Because think about it. Think about it. If things are down bad, why are you dumping tea in the harbor? Why are you dumping, like, why aren't you just stealing it? You know what I mean? Again, they don't be thinking about like what they could do in the meantime, between time, to maintain it. They're constantly trying to push the system to do something different with their reaction, instead of setting a standard that just makes fucking sense. So again, I do think that there will be war on this soil, but I think it's going to be really young people, and I think that's what's going to make it a harder war than any other war, because it's going to be young engaged people who know exactly who they want to harm, and it's going to be people who are in the state, people who are state officials, police. Like, I just feel like at some point, like, there's going to be young people who realize, like, they're never going to tell us the truth. They're never going to be honest with us. They're going to, put a woman that has power right now to do something. Like, again, I think the thing about Kamala that annoys me is like Kamala has had power this entire fucking time to do more. And I know some people will say that she hasn't, but that's fucking bullshit. Like, I truly believe that the Democrats are like, let's not be the ones that start it. And it's like, it was already started, bitch. It's already been started. But they're so worried about the optics of them. They look crazy. Like, I've never felt like I was living in Hunger Games more than this year, especially when you saw Barack Obama sitting with Donald Trump. I'm like, bitch, kick his head off. What the fuck? Like, sweetie, what are we doing? Not, you know what I mean? I'm screaming. You're funny as hell. I love you. I love you so much. Thank you for appreciating anything that I say. Genuinely, I just be high and talking. So thank you for appreciating me. Anyways, though, but yeah, I'm just really not sure. And then also Michelle Obama being like, I'm not gonna go to the inauguration. You know, I just feel like on some Capricorn shit, I'm sure she has a beauty regimen. I'm sure she has a blunt to smoke. Like, let's be real. I just feel like her, like, letting it be known, like her putting it out there, her team letting the press know, letting all of us know, I won't be there. It's giving like, yeah, you might see my husband goofy ass. Like, I just the politics, honestly, I just feel like the politics, because Michelle really don't want to look crazy. I feel like Michelle has like larger ideas. Like, there's a part of me that's like, I would not be surprised if I saw Michelle run next year. I would not be fucking surprised. And I feel like this might be part of it. Here's my thing. Her being friends with Bush is hilarious as fuck, because it's like, are they even capable of being anything less they have the same things in common. You know what I mean? Like I think about all the like assassination attempts on Trump, and I think about how if someone was trying to kill Barry, I swear they wouldn't even tell us. I'm sure people tried to kill Barry. I'm sure, but it wasn't fitting the agenda to tell us. But us knowing that Trump has been almost got, oh, it's so exciting. It's not. I don't care about him getting killed. Like that doesn't matter. Like that's the thing about it. Like I feel like like it makes me look at like dead presidents differently now, because it's like who really pulled that trigger? Like who really wanted you gone? Like I don't believe in coincidence, bitch. Like I don't no more. It just is seeming all so interconnected. But again, I do see like I do see Michelle running at some point, because again, I think that the way that she ran her presidential wife campaign was very much like, I am like, again, I don't want to do too much here, but like Barack, in my humblest opinion, has used Michelle. Even if their relationship is real, I personally don't care. But he definitely used the optics of him being with a brown skinned black woman as a way to ascend in black spaces. And not only that, but the way that she played ball with him, because she absolutely was sitting with Bush for a motherfucking reason. There's a reason why she sat with Bush, and there's a reason why she played up her connection and friendship. Because let's be fucking clear, like him choosing her to be his wife on the public stage, it really does set a tone, and it does also connect with some of the anti-blackness that he experienced. Because let's be fucking clear, like if Barack was with a white bitch, I swear to y'all, half of the rhetoric we heard from his campaign, where we would never have fucking heard. I just feel like I just remember hearing about his father being Kenyan. I just remember all the ways they were trying to build this international man of blackness, and it sounded so strange when they started talking about Hawaii and his grandparents. And I'm like, well, what was the point of you saying he had a Kenyan father? What was the point of all this? Because you're really invoking that like he has some ancestral connection to Kenya that is like really, like, it's really prominent in his work and life, and it's not. He's very much like out here doing the thing a lot of us mixed people do, which is like counting up other black people that are connected to us by some lineage and putting that as our resume. And it is wild, because it's like if he would have said raised by a white woman and grandparents in Hawaii, it'd be a different conversation entirely. If his children look like the motherfucking what is it? That football dude. I'm blanking on his name, but they're basically talking about how like this football dude who's like really light skinned had a white baby, and now all the kids is looking like white and shit. Talking about some they breeding out the blackness or whatever the fuck. Like it's just like if Sasha and Malia weren't the daughters, I do think that there would be a different conversation happening. And again, we could talk about the birther movement all fucking day. We really could. But I feel like that inspiration came from them trying to connect him to Kenya personally. Like I feel like they did so much trying to like enunciate his blackness that they fucked around and made it seem like he was a foreign man connected to America by motherfucking random parents in Hawaii. And again, a Hawaiian grandparents, sweetie, Hawaii, not America, bitch, stolen ass land. Like it's like at the end of the motherfucking day, the Asian influence, the African influence, the motherfucking Hawaiian influence, like it's mad layers to his experience. On top of that, he a fucking Leo. And Leos are just very chatty, very outgoing. And so, with that being fucking said, I'm sure he was able to connect with more and more people, because when you're a mixed person, people do have a asterisk around your identity. As long as they find out that you have some connection to whiteness, you're good. The more you reveal that you're connected to other races outside of whiteness, the more you have decolonized, the more you will not be able to be around white people, because they will be expecting you to be a brown avatar. They'll be expecting whiteness wrapped in brown. Oh shit, I've never seen Twin Peaks. Is it worth our time? Please tell us. And I'm sorry to hear that. I heard that he's created a couple things more than that. I think like he also created a couple movies, perhaps. Maybe wrote some books. I could be tripping, but I've heard that he's created a couple things. But I know people like that show from what I saw on Tumblr in that era. But I never got into it. I feel like I'm about to fuck around and watch Grey's Anatomy, and I really don't want to. But one of my old faves started watching it and doing recaps, and I'm kind of mad that I've been missing all of them because I ain't been watching it. But she been so passionate. It's like, damn, bitch, not you got me about to watch it. I tried to start watching the OC, and it worked a little bit, but then I just start crying bad, bitch, because like, ugh. Like I really like whenever like they do those like the OC da da da. I am who they're writing that for. Like I was there when it came out. I was there when the OC was created in the beginning. I was there from the jump. I watched every fucking episode. I kind of fell off towards the end to be honest with you because I just feel like between me and you, like the story in the beginning is so close to my home life situation of just like constantly being taken in by random white people, constantly feeling kind of like a stray dog, less of a human, but also knowing that like I have something to offer, but I don't know how to express it yet. I haven't been shown. I need therapy, but are they giving it to me? No. They're giving me all this tough love and family experience that, again, I don't know how to appreciate because I'm used to my family just turning their back on me. In fact, I don't feel safe to even be family with you. And again, just all the ways that I'm watching these shows that are like reminding me, like, that's why I like this show because it was showing me, it was showing what it looks like to be scared, to be alone, to be abandoned. And like they were important shows to me because I was very much feeling all of those things. And so it's just been so hard. Like even Anne with an E, watching it over again, had me all fucked up. Cause it's the way that like they done took her in to be a damn maid. And she over here thinking she about to be a daughter finally. And just the way that some of us don't get to be daughters and some of us don't get to be beloved children. Some of us don't get to be the child that is very much cherished and happy that like they're existing. Like some of us, our parents are just worried more about scaring us into behaving a certain way. Mm. Princess Weeks did a retrospective on girls. Low key, don't play. Cause like, bitch, I'm being so fucking for real. Like, if folks really do want to do a Discord and watch movies and shit, I'm super with it. But I do want to do a request because I just upgraded my internet. I'm not sure how it's gonna go, but I would be down to facilitate. And if my internet sucks, please be honest with me. Like if my upgrade to my internet, like I was paying $10 for internet, now I'm paying 15, bitch. And they had to send me a new box. That's why I'm kind of like, ooh, it might work. Ryan's story fucks me up because it's like when people think you're like a good kid, but like you're in a bad situation, things are so different versus when people think you're a bad kid in a bad situation. It's almost like they feel like you deserve it. And just the ways that like people be so casual with him when like they're just like, oh, you're from the hood, oh, you're from down there. And just the ways that he just be offering so many like kindnesses to people even though he don't need to, but I feel like in retrospect I think he goes out his way because I think he knows this is an opportunity to show them I'm not what you think. And I think that that's, again, that's a part of trauma, like trying to show people like, yeah, you treated me bad, but look, I was worth treating good. It's like they didn't deserve none of that. Oh my God, Misha had me crying. Misha had me crying so bad. Like again, I'm trying to watch the OC, bitch. I got 2 episodes in, that shit fucked me up. Cause I'm just like, it's the way that like when I watch the show, like watching the OC, the pilot and the second episode, it's like she is just an object. Like it's the way that the camera moves on her that fucks me up. Like it's like the way that I know she became like really disaffected and like became like really like caught up with like addiction and pills. It's like it's the way that like when she's in this movie or in this show rather, they have like a filter on her. Like they literally make her look like larger than life, something really, really amazing. And then they just used her character to like sabotage, I feel like, a lot of young women who are living in situations where their family was treating them like shit. But it was hard to pick up on. Like think about it, like you open up the show and like everyone's like, damn, Marissa, you have all these things, you're so rich and popular, your boyfriend is so like he's so handsome and has money too, and oh my God, you're doing so well. And then like as you pull back, you're noticing her dad is like fucking stealing, her dad is low-key fucking up the money, the mom, Julie, oh, I forgot how demonic Julie was, talking about Marissa's angles on her face and how she shouldn't wear her hair hold back. And it's like, damn, imagine looking at your child and talking about how their bones are harsh. Mm, that shit hurt me, bitch. Like, I was like, damn, like, I'm a fat bitch. And so I know what it's like for your mama to just look at you and just say something crazy about you being a fucking fat bitch. But damn, like, it really did have me sitting with like the skinny girls for a moment and being like, damn, like, you're just a smaller girl and they're really coming for your bones. I'm glad my fat is covering these hoes. Cause like I wish a bitch would talk about my bones. Boning. How dare you? Like, bitch, I got so mad. I was like, bitch. Cause just like I can't get small, she can't just gain weight in her face. It just had me so infuriated. Cause it's like I'm looking at her in the camera. The way the camera is on her, I know I'm supposed to think she's perfect. The way the camera is holding her, I'm supposed to think she's beautiful. I'm supposed to think she's amazing. I'm supposed to think so many things about her. I'm supposed to love how I'm seeing her. And I just kept thinking she is such a product. Like everything she has on, I'm sure some rich girl in some other place knows exactly what designer that is. Like I'm sure just the way that they have her packaged. And again, that scene where she's just laying in front of her house, drunk as shit. And the way that Ryan carries her into his little pool house and is just trying to like, not have her out here looking so crazy. And how like that's, no spoilers, like I don't want to spoil it, but like just that scene of like how like, when you're broke and you're down bad, your mama is fucking addicted to weird dudes, you just down bad the most. It's so hard to pull back and really see how like people with money are not doing much better mentally. It's hard to hold it. It is because again, you can see so much beauty in the money, in the access, and then to notice like, oh, that girl has to drink in order to literally feel anything. And then just when she's feeling things, she blacks out. So she's never able to fully feel all her feelings. She's only able to get wasted and build an addiction and a tolerance to her own expression of emotion, which is distressing. And then on top of it, you have this boy who's come from nothing, but he has a desire to be an architect, which is a lucrative career. He has the desire, the curiosity, the skill. Does he have the opportunities though? No. And again, it forces all the rich people in his vicinity to really question, do I deserve this? And some people really will not fuck with you because you make them question whether or not they earned or deserve what the fuck they have. When let's just be candid, I think that there's things that people can put behind money, and time and energy, and it can feel like you really achieve something, and that's a beautiful feeling. But there's also ways that like you woke up and you never had to worry about feeding yourself, or the ways sometimes you wake up and you know that everyone else in the house has a job and like it's okay that you don't have one yet. Like there's just so many situations where like you're being supported by so many other people and therefore it's harder to feel like you got to do this all on your own. And yet there are people that we're aware of that are every day waking up, and if someone don't got it, meaning if they don't got it, then they're out here. And the ways that like so many of us are in situations where maybe we're not being really honest with our friends, our partners, our roommates, whoever, because we can't rock that boat right now. So my heart just goes out to anybody who's in a living situation where it's like, you just really want more, or you don't know what you want. You're just in a situation that you're just in. And again, I'm not trying to tie it all in, but I will say that the OC does remind me that, when Ryan ran away in the pilot to the model house, uh he knew that like he would go to foster care and that his life would be harder perhaps, and that it would be easier maybe to just be a runaway, find some construction work and go from there. And it's just the way that like you find you just find like when you're a poor person that like you have to constantly justify like your smarts, It's exhausting, and I just see him trying to prove like he's worth saving, and it makes me think about how like when you're poor, that's a big thing that you do. You try to like tell people all the things that you're gonna do, all the things. I just see a lot of mutual aid posts where people are like, "Hey, like help me," and this is all I'm doing for myself, and I just need you to do it. And it's like, damn, like all the ways we have to just think about like how why we deserve it, and it's like we just do, but we don't live in a world that tells us that at all. I've heard of South of Nowhere. Oh, I love Megan. They really did play Misha. You're right. But I think also like her being used the way she was in the show just again reminds me that like beauty is such a trick because again, every time she shows up on screen, you're like, where's Ryan? Like that there's something brewing between them. And you also know that, her boyfriend's cheating on her. And so there's just this feeling of like, girl, who really cares about you? Like, who really does care about you? Because your friend Summer, like, between me and you, I feel like Summer always was giving, like, the assistant to the girlie. And it was just awkward because it's like, are they really friends? Like, I really always questioned if Summer was really friends with, like, I wondered if, like, Misha really, or not Misha, but I wonder if Marissa was really friends with Summer. Because it always felt like Summer was, like, just a friend that was, like, hanging out with all the popular girls. And she was, like, the friend of the popular girl. And I think even when she, ended up getting with Seth, it was just kind of like, I don't know, bro. I feel like the show really got me fucked up though. I was like weeping so hard watching the shits because it just was such a reminder that like, there's some kids that when they're in high school, they're just remembering everybody else's memories. Like the way Seth knew exactly when certain people started dating or knew exactly when certain things happened in high school. And it's like, damn, like you're out of that shit. Like you're free. Well, not really, but like just the way that like he remembered middle school, the way that he lived next to like the most popular girl his whole childhood. And like she never spoke to him until he started living with this kid who was a foster kid who was abandoned by his mother. And again, just the ways that like I watch that show and I think about this girl that I lived with when I was younger. Like when I was like I want to say like before I was in foster care for real. I was living with my aunt and my aunt lived down the street from this girl that I met named Lindsay. And me and her became cool. I don't even remember how. I want to say I was friends with this girl named Alicia because we were like the same age. And Lindsay had like stayed back a year. And so she was the same age as me, but like she was a year younger than me in school. So I knew one of her friends. And I don't even remember how I got close with one of her friends, but me and her friend Alicia became cool. And I want to say Alicia's dad was Native American, and they was cool or whatever, but very strict. And I want to say I met Lindsay, and Lindsay had a single mom named Karen, and Karen was like, I don't even know. Like I think when I was younger, I remember noticing that a lot of men of color were like trying to get with her, and she was like a shorter, chunkier white lady who never really had a partner. Like it just seemed like she was always working or just like by herself in her room doing her business. But me and Lindsay became close. Again, I'm not sure how, but we became close. And she had two besties named Jocelyn and Cherokee. And I want to say there was a moment where we all went camping and Jocelyn and Cherokee was writing shit on her back in Sharpie. And it was crazy as fuck. Cause I just remember sitting there just eating marshmallows. I was eating like s'mores while they were like basically hazing this girl. And like I didn't know what to do. Like of course I felt bad, but I felt on some peer pressure. Like I couldn't say anything. Cause it's like these are her closer friends. I'm a newer friend. We're camping, and like I remember her mom was so mad. She was like I remember me and her mom trying to clean off her back, and she was just so upset that these girls had wrote that shit. Like they were writing like fat bitch, like they were writing crazy shit in Sharpie on this girl. And again, I don't know what was happening before that even occurred, but me and her became really fucking close at some point. But I want to say that like her mom started operating like she was both of our moms, but I kind of got the vibe like she was worried about treating me too nice. And like I feel like she would like go out of her way and buy stuff for Lindsay that like she definitely couldn't buy for me. Like I remember she bought a laptop for Lindsay, and her and Lindsay would be on their laptops, and I'd be using this like big ass old ass computer at their desk. And I never hated on the computer. I was grateful to have anything. But I do remember that like that did hurt my feelings. You know what I mean? Like I was upset, but I never said nothing because it's like, what am I really about to say? Like that's your real daughter. You know what I mean? Like I'm glad you looked out for her and got her a laptop. That's awesome. But at the same time, I was hurt by that. And I think also me and Lindsay were super different. Like I wanna say damn, I'm blanking on her birthday, bitch, for real. I'm whack, but I wanna say she was hmm, yeah, I literally can't remember her birthday. But she was very much a homebody. I remember like motherfuckers would be just mad at her because she would just be a fat bitch doing fat bitch stuff. Like she really didn't bother too many people, but I do think that like she would just be living her full life and people would be annoyed with her. Like I remember one time, I remember when she like got her period like in the beginning of our friendship cuz again, we were young. This is like a young story. And she was like her mom bought her some chocolates and I remember her friend was like hating on her and was like, "Oh, this bitch always talking about her period chocolates and do 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 do." And it's like how cute that her mom like wanted to make sure that when she's on her period, she has snacks and she has, something to make her feel good. Like I just feel like there was a lot of hate, honestly, on how much love she got. And I feel like there were moments where I definitely was jealous because as I said, like I feel like Karen was operating like she wanted to be my foster mom. But when it came down to it, I don't think her I don't think her like she didn't meet the requirements to be my foster parent, but I wanted her to be. But I feel like at some point me, her and Lindsay moved in together and I want to say it ended up not working out. But me and her spoke recently, actually, and Lindsay was like, I didn't know how to have a sister like when we were younger, and so I'm sorry that I didn't treat you the best. And it made me so sad because it's like honestly, I don't remember her treating me poorly at all. Like I'm glad that she feels like she owes me an apology and she gave it to me. But I just remember like thinking to myself, I didn't know how to be a sister to her. Like she was a white woman with red hair who was like very much sheltered. Like she was half Jewish too. Like her dad was this Jewish dude, and I'll never forget this. Her dad was mad fucking racist. Like one time, me, her mom, her dad were all sitting around, and like her mom and her dad were not together. They had like fucked, and I guess her mom got pregnant and like they didn't get married, which is fine. But the dad lived with his mom, and so she was really close with her grandmother. And so whenever we would go visit her dad's house, we would be basically hanging out with her dad and her granny. And so remember one time her dad, her granny, her mom, me and her were all kicking it and we were watching like the Olympics and I'll never forget this. We saw this black man. I want to say his name was Anthony George, but it might be something different. It might be George something. But he basically was this like brown skinned man who was like just winning something, just doing well, and her mother had made some remark about how he was handsome, and her father had the nerve to be like, "Yeah, if you like that primate look." And I looked at him, and he didn't correct himself, and nobody said anything. And I just remember from that day just being like, "Yeah, her dad is evil and weird as fuck, and I don't fuck with him." And again, he was the man who had taken me to shoot a gun for the first time. Like he very much was the kind of girl dad that was like, I want my daughter to be able to defend herself no matter what. But he also a huge racist. And so I used to think he was kind of cool, but obviously after that moment I was like, nah. But he was just such a fucking hater bitch. Like how you hating on your ex? Like not even your ex-girlfriend, like your ex bust down for like liking someone's look on the TV. And so again, her story and my story was very different. She had a dad that was active but a piece of shit. And her mom was low key always getting hit on by mad Indian dudes. And like it was awkward because like I honestly feel like she her mom like like that stereotype about how there are a lot of men of color like fat white women. I hate to say this, but I really feel like that is very true because the amount of men that would be trying to get at her mom, and she was a very plain white lady, very much did not go out her way to look any kind of good, very looking basic, like no shade, but she worked at like a home for people, a residential home. So she never was really putting herself together. And the way that these men would be harassing her, it would never be white men. It will always be men of color every fucking time. And this shit would be like, dang. Like, and again, it's just the way that I feel like they were trying to like see if they what they could get from her a lot of times, try to push boundaries with her. And I hate to say this, but I think that her baby father was very jealous, which he's racist. I'm glad that my friend mom curved him, but still, and again, like I'm trying to tie this all back to the OC, but like I've lived with so many people and tried to fucking just survive. Like I wasn't living with people because I had other fucking options. But I think that that's the thing about these shows. It's like they're about like when you have nobody and you have to rely on any fucking body. And then on top of that, you're also trying to figure out like, are these good people? And what the fuck is a good person anyway? Like, I don't even feel like good people are real. I think that there's just moments where you can, not be so selfish and be selfless. And then there's moments where you really can't. And I don't think that like everybody can tell who's good or bad because I don't think everybody knows how to measure everybody's situation. Like when I hear about people like when I hear about people going to jail for like stealing food and shit like that, I'm like, well, that's silly. Like they just needed some food. But other people will be like, that's a bad person. Like there's people that think that I'm a bad person for what I do in the plant medicine space. Like I've definitely had people tell me that I was a bad person for what I do. So that's why I'm not really invested in being a good person because I know that it's subjective. It's true. Soft and Quiet, okay? Watch that show, y'all, or that movie rather, Soft and Quiet. Very much that. Like I've had a lot of white people be around me and like in retrospect, I'm like, oh, like, and again, people be acting like you gotta go through so much to experience racism. But if we just focus on anti-blackness unfolding, I think it's a lot easier to see what we're seeing, um, and name it as such. But you know, but it's the way that this man really called this man a primate, like in front of my fucking face. Like I was like not a person of color. But in my mind, I feel like he really thought like this is my fucking house. If I'm gonna be racist, who's gonna check me? And again, it's true. I didn't say shit. I just remember sitting there like kind of stunned and him just continuing on talking like it's whatever. And not one person pushed back on him. People went, what? Like people did like say what? But nobody was like, that's racist. And I remember telling my friend at the time who was this boy named Peter, who was like half Italian, half Puerto Rican. And he was like, that's fucking crazy. And I was like, I know. But he didn't know what to do either. Like he over there white passing as fuck with a little tan. He don't fucking know. And I think about all the ways that like again, there ain't no motherfucking manual for how the fuck you supposed to address anti-blackness. And then on top of it, just like this last situation with homegirl, like you could really be having like good faith and be like, yeah, I'm gonna talk to this person because I really want them to be safer to be in community with. But I'm trying to remember, like, I cannot play God in people's lives. Like, if people are moving in a way that's really disastrous, I can open up about it. I can, but I can't make it no fucking mission. I gotta really take a deep breath on that because I be really thinking like I could change somebody, and that is so like that's not my job here. I'm not supposed to be changing nobody, bitch. Nobody's supposed to be changed by me. People are just supposed to be motherfucking themselves. And maybe they'll realize through communication and listening to others that how they're moving is connected to systems of harm. Like, that's what I'm trying to offer, an opportunity to consider that, not knowing means that you are having an opportunity to learn something new. But being able to change, I think that's a lot to put on people just because they're talking or saying something. Like, I've been very fortunate. There's a creator named Ayandastod, Ayandastod, and they have a video called "Of Course You're Inconsistent, You're Not a Machine." And that video really did like crack my brain open in the best way and remind me that like my behavior makes so much fucking sense based on what I've gone through and based on where I live and what's expected of me. What up, Aqua? And so I do think that if anybody out there is struggling with being inconsistent or not being on point or not having all their shit together, I would definitely, invite you to listen to that video because that video really did have me sit with all the ways that I'm supposed to be feeling like shit because I don't got a job. I'm supposed to be feeling bad that this and this ain't happening. I'm supposed to be feeling all types of fucked up. Like, I think about all the things that have happened that are supposed to like really have me like, oh no. And I'm thinking about all the ways that I'm still claiming joy, all the ways I'm still creating, growing, building, and trying to remember that that's my truth. My truth is that I'm not stagnant, that I'm not growing, that like there are parts of me that again there are wounds that are gonna open and close a couple times. I'm trying to just be gentle as fuck with myself so that when I encounter someone thinking that they're bad or that they're being demonic, I can maybe be the person that actually sits with them in that space and offers that, their behavior is actually making a lot of sense considering what's happening. Like, that's who I want to be in the story. I want to be the elder that's like, actually, I'm noticing that you're doing your best. I'm noticing that you're trying your best. I'm noticing that you're actually putting a lot of energy in surviving. And maybe that's why you don't have as much for other shit. Because sometimes when people uplift that, like, you're trying your best and they see you, or that, they've been there too, and they see you there as well, and they extend grace, it can be so much. Like, I need y'all to know, like, sometimes just telling people, like, I hear you, and I'm definitely hearing where you're coming from, like, just acknowledging that people are going through something and that, they may need your support, like, that could really change a conversation. And just again, celebrating people when they speak up. Like, I've been reaching out to so many folks and just being like, I'm so glad you told us what's happening. Because again, there have been so many moments where I've told people what's happening with me, and I've been scared as fuck the whole time, worried, even though I'm already going through something worrying. I don't need to be worried about people monitoring me. But with that being fucking said, I know that we don't live in a world where people don't monitor. I know we live in a world where there are monitoring spirits, but I'm really hoping that whoever out there is also scared to say what's really happening, I hope that the biggest and hardest part to get through is acknowledging that you're worth hearing from. Cause yeah, there's gonna always be people monitoring your page and looking to see what the fuck you're going through, but sweetie, like, you know what you're going through, and that's enough. It's really okay. It's really okay to not have it. It's really okay to not know what to do next. It's really okay to be gathering information, to be plotting on a new move. All of that is very much okay. It's all right to still be traumatized and trying to understand what the fuck you're supposed to do next. All that shit is valid. It is very fucking scary out here at times, very harsh. And so, yeah, I think that we need more elders to be gentle in the face of all this shit because we've been living for how long, bitch? Like, I'm not trying to do too much, but I've been here for 35 years, bitch. It's been a little silly little ride, but I'm grateful that I get to live and tell the tale and be candid about how I'm still celebrating. Yes, there's a lot of bullshit going on, but there's some things to shake your pussy about. Absolutely. And like again, if you can't recall any, that's real as fuck. Some days it feel like you ain't got shit. I hear you. I hear you, bitch. But my mood right now is on Nina Simone. I got life, bitch. You feel me? I got a lot more than I be thinking about. And so I'm trying to focus on what the fuck I do got. Because it's so easy to think about what's missing, what hasn't been worked for, what hasn't been earned. But what has been worked for? Like, what have you really worked to do? What have you really worked to heal? Like, some of y'all really not celebrating that it's been a minute since you felt like you needed to reach out to your abuser for validation. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud that you're not even looking backwards to see what someone who hurt you is worried about when it comes to you. Some of y'all cut off a parent who never was one. Some of y'all cut off somebody who was hurting you, maybe stealing from you. Some of y'all are cutting people off that are just, they're not aligning with the vision, with the future, and that's okay. And I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of all of you because if you know someone's not giving you what you need, if you know someone's not providing what you're looking for, especially joy and support, excuse me, it's so important to get up out of there. And I know some people on here have been trying to like roast me about like being so excited about being with Dane, but I want y'all to know the moment that I feel like I'm not being supported or loved properly, I will leave. And I've told him this. I told him if I'm not happier with you, I'd rather be alone. And that's something I've never said to any partner. And I'm so happy I'm there because I've never really felt like that. I've always felt like I'd rather have someone around, even if it wasn't benefiting me emotionally, mentally. I've absolutely still desired to have people all up in my space just so that I had some energy around me. And again, that desire to not be alone, I know where it's coming from. I know where and why and who, what, when, where. I'm seeing more of the picture now of why I do what I do, why I let certain people in, why I don't say no, why I do say no. I'm learning. And so, like I said, I'm still loving this man. I'm still appreciating this man. But if I don't, I don't think it's a failure. I just want to put it out there that I'm really grateful for all the ways I've been behaving in this relationship because I've really been standing up for myself and letting him know what I do and do not prefer. And he is being candid with me as much as he can be. But as I've discussed earlier, like we are definitely not the same when it comes to emotional intelligence. He is absolutely still trying to learn how to cut out people that are actively cutting him out. Like he's still being quite delusional in certain relationships. And so I think that that's partly why there's times in our relationship where I'm just like, man, communication. Like, again, because we both have moms that are addicts, I think he knows in a way that I don't know that you can stay in that situation. And so, because I've liberated myself from my abusive mother and I got away from her for several years, I know that I can get away from abusers. Like I know that that is possible. And so I do think that that is low key a big issue between us is that like I think that he's more willing to accept like certain behavior and I'm less interested in accepting behavior that I don't like. And I do think that like in ways like his threshold for boundaries is a lot wider than mine. And I do think that like that's been really fascinating to notice because I do remember when it was opposite. I do remember when I definitely had way less boundaries than my partners in the past and just was feeling really hurt about them wanting to maintain autonomy. And now I'm just realizing how important it is to be an individual despite being in a relationship. Like having a whole life outside of your partner, having a world outside of your partner, so fucking necessary. But again, there are a lot of people who think like when you get married or when you get into a romantic relationship, you're supposed to blend all your worlds, and it's just not possible. Like I don't think that that's realistic. I think that yeah, you're gonna have some friends in common, but there's gonna be hopefully a world where you feel the most comfortable, and maybe that person can come visit, but like that's not their world. I think as it stands, I do think that like he doesn't have as rich of a world as me. Like I feel like I just moved out here and I have more connections than him. And he's had a lot of childhood trauma out here. Like, I don't live where my bullies still live. You feel me? Like, people that bullied me and were shitty to me, like, they live in Connecticut. I've never seen a bully, like, since I've been an adult. Thank fuck. But he definitely has. He's definitely seen people that bullied him and tormented him and did things to him that were really fucking evil. Like, at some point, like, he had, like, a giant, like, 4B afro, and fucking white people put gum in it, and like white people just stole his cat recently. Like, he's been harmed by white supremacy in a way that, like, again, I have not been. Ain't nobody ever put no gum in my hair. Ain't nobody ever stole my animal. And again, the ways that he still live out here. So the people that stole his cat, he knows who they are. He sees them. He sees the cat sometimes in the window. But they're Latino and acting as if they can't speak English to talk about why they stole his cat. It's very bizarre. Mm-mm-mm. Very bizarre. But again, what up, Abba? It's a wild ride. It's a wild ride, and I think that one thing if I can impress anything on anybody young and dating, look for people that have the kind of conflict resolution style and skills that complement yours. And so people that are avoidant, they're not going to want to talk to you about the conflict right then and there. They may need you to say, hey, can we talk about such and such when you're ready? Can we make a plan coming up this week? Like, and as an anxious attached person, that's really hard for me to be like, let me table how I'm feeling right now and talk to you when you're ready. But again, that is a part of partnership, is acknowledging like where you're both at and trying to do things that, again, signify that you're both equals and you both deserve care and support and compassion. But again, I'm not going to play with you. Like, being in a relationship with someone, it's work. It's work. And I think this summer was really easy because I just needed someone to be a companion. And I think now we're in that part of like relationship where it's like, what are we building? You know, what do we want to do? And I think even though we both want to like be thinking about co-op housing and working within community, I think I'm realizing that, you know, he actually needs a lot more support than I think I may be able to offer. And so I'm trying to figure out how to operate in this connection with him as a friend. And I think that that's really where I'm at. Like, I'm really thinking about connections with people as their friend and not as simply a lover who's concerned with like the romantic and emotional well-being of my partner. I want to be someone who's considering all of the things, and that can be a lot more. And so again, I'm trying to just be mindful that like me and Dane met in a time where a man had tried to kill me, and I just wanted to be around a man that wanted to do the opposite of that. I just wanted to be around a man that spoiled me and treated me super good and made me think that all men were not out to get me and kill me. And again, I know that that's a very big ask to put on someone, and I'm grateful for Dane because he's really shown up for me so fucking much. But I do think that when I consider our emotional experiences, I do think that like the incompatibility with us is getting louder for me just because I'm realizing that like, yeah, I am calling my mom, but not because I really want to. Like, there's a part of me that just feels like I can call her, so I should. And it's like, nah. Like, I think like being around him is kind of compromising like my boundaries. And I don't mean that to be ugly. I mean that to be candid, that like, you know, he's still not willing to tell his mom like how much harm she's doing. He's still like kind of just avoiding her instead of being honest. And I think that that's kind of also hitting for me, that like he does avoiding shit. Like, he does shit to avoid communication, and it can be kind of frustrating at times. And so while I've always maintained that like I've been scared to get closer to him, I did allow myself to get closer. And what I'm realizing is, as I've said before, I do want to create a housing community that is like man free in terms of like romantic dating. Like I want there to be a space for femmes to live where they don't have to depend on a man. And if they want a man in their life, it doesn't become, oh, I'm trapped with him. Oh, I'm stuck with him. Oh, I can't get out of my lease. Like I've gone through this so many times where like me and this man had a real conversation around how our shit's about to go down, and it don't go down that way, and then the law is on his side. And you know, in my last situation, the law was on my side. Like evicting someone after like having them live with you for over 30 days is not possible, really. But there are so many more women these days who are getting evicted because they trusted a man to bring home this or that amount of money or be present for this or that conversation, and they're not going to get that actually. And I don't know, I just feel like I've lived long enough to know that the elders that I have don't give a fuck. Like I think that that's the thing about it, is like women older than me are not worried about the younger girlies like being ate up out here or not getting housing or not having access. Like it's just not a real desire to care about too deeply. And I just think about younger people who are, you know, listening to the sprinkle sprinkle lady and think that like a man's role is to support your whole life. And that's how we get on the trad wife, live in girlfriend pipeline. And again, as someone who wanted people to think, yes, I'm always with a man, I'm always desired, I'm always being loved, I know that at this point, like there is a part of me that knows that I do need to take breaks in between people. Have I always? Fuck no. Being denied love, deprived love has been hard for me to accept a lot. And so I do try to like find love immediately. And not necessarily replace that person, but be loved again. Like I definitely don't want to say I'm a love addict, but I think that I it would be silly to say that I don't want connection in my life. I don't desire it. I definitely do. But I think it's more at this point, I crave companionship, I crave friendship, I crave being in right relationship, I crave curiosity, I crave people that want to make sure that we're being safe together. And I crave people that when they hear there's an issue, they're excited to hear me tell them like how I can be loved better or more fully. And they're not worried about me condemning them and making them feel bad because they're not starting off feeling bad already. And I think that that's like my biggest issue in this relationship, is that like he is extremely depressed, and like depressed in a way that like I'm not trying to condemn. I'm just trying to be super honest that like when your partner is depressed, and not depressed in a way where it's like, oh, life sucks, like depressed in a way where it's kind of scary at times, that like that is part of like I think this, that you know you're trying to be gentle when you're bringing things up, but also there's no way to be so gentle that you don't hurt this person because they're kind of pedestalizing you because of how good they feel with you. And I think like when I early opened up about like Dane like having like suicidal in ideations after us having conflict that resulted in him believing that we had to be done, even though I'm like, you don't want to work on this, you don't want to figure this out together. Like I think like he's just always expecting conflict to equal end. And that Scorpio stellium that I told y'all about, like the Scorpios rule the death card. And so there's really a vibe of like anything he does that I bring up, he is really thinking like this is the end. And I'm trying to reassure him that, you know, it's not the end, but you thinking it's the end because we're having a conflict is scary to me, because it's signifying that you don't trust me to, you know, be in this with you, that like I'm bringing up a grievance and you think it just means like fuck you. But if I'm being super honest with you, I've been him. And so that's why I think like I'm still holding on. You know what I mean? In ways. Like there are other reasons, but I think like when it comes to our conflict, I'm like, bro, I know what it's like for someone to tell me something and I'm shattered because like I feel so good with them. I love them so much, but they are noticing me be, you know, flawed or not completely what they needed or not showing up in a way that maybe I had before. And now I'm internalizing it so hard that I can't hear that this is a conflict. This is not the end. If it was the end, they might not bother to communicate with me. And so I think that that's what's frustrating me, is that, I'm learning this lesson in real time, that, like, sometimes people bring you stuff and you're really not ready for it. And maybe they could have said, "Hey, are you ready to hear something about our relationship that's, I've been really thinking on?" Like, I'm really learning that there's ways to say things to kind of bring things, or at least prepare people to be in a space with you. And I think that, again, like, the emotional intelligence, like, I don't think he's had enough romantic experience to know, like, how he's operating, and like how he gives up so quickly does affect, like, how I feel about pushing through with him in certain ways. Because again, him thinking that, like, a conflict is, the end, like, or some big conflict point, some big, like, explosion seemingly, or some moment to really focus on, and not considering, like, this is a moment for us to, like, not just be in our happy, joyous, cute stage, and we're actually, like, venturing out of being predictable, that we're venturing out of being like this or that way that people have known us to be. And I think, like, because I've spoken out about my family being abusive and toxic, I think that, unfortunately, for the kids that, like, never say to anyone that their family's abusive, to the kids that, like, never call DCF or 911, like, I hate to say this, but there is this vibe I get that, like, I'm a snitch. I'm not saying that in a way that, like, I feel like he makes me feel bad. I just know that, like, he kept the secret of his abuse. And so I think, like, in our relationship, it is terrifying to him to know that he's not doing the right thing, because when people aren't doing the right thing, he knows that he can be quiet. He knows he can handle it. He knows he can weather through it. And I'm not like him. And I don't think he's realizing, like, this is a moment to maybe learn a new skill, like, learn how to hear what people are saying and not internalize it as you're bad. Maybe that, like, maybe you're being offered an opportunity to prepare. But again, I think, like, my understanding or my empathy with him is coming from my own experiences of being, like, ill prepared for what someone needed, but also in retrospect knowing we both weren't emotionally intelligent in that moment. We both were not emotionally intelligent in the way we needed to for each other, and therefore the relationship never went anywhere beyond that moment, because we were stuck and we needed help, but we didn't know how to get it, and we also didn't know how to ask. And I also think, in relationships that are not, like, you're not married or headed towards marriage, or even, like, thinking about it, like, it can be kind of like, damn, do I let this go? Do I keep going? And so I think in this connection with Dane, I think I'm just in a space where it's like, I told him from the beginning I don't want anything super serious, and then I totally was like, I want to marry you, because I really appreciate the way he operates, or he was operating. At this point, I'm noticing that, like, he's getting more afraid of, like, being candid in this way that's kind of like, damn, like, I really wonder if he's worried about, like, making mistakes or not being what I want anymore. And honestly, it would all be valid. I think I'm just trying to remind myself that there's more things for me to focus on than this relationship. Like, I actually called this university about a school, because I'm really thinking about, like, two different opportunities for work for me. Like, one is, I've been really thinking about this peer-led support hotline, where people who take mushrooms are able to talk to people who also take mushrooms, and just, like, be in the space with them, even if they're not both on mushrooms. Just being able to talk to someone who has had that empathetic experience and can employ empathy with you, and also not be white. Because I recently got into a conversation with some white people, and I was like, are there any black people that work here? Because I'd rather tell this story to a black person and not waste my time. And they were kind of taken aback that I was so candid, but I was kind of trying to let them know, like, I'm about to be explaining anti-blackness, and I don't want to waste my time. and they really didn't know what to do. And so I'm really hoping to kind of create something with other folks, like facilitating an idea where there are black folk, there are native folk, there are foreign folk that are in this medicine space and are able to like lend an ear or even just offer their own experience to other people who are there as well. Because I have noticed mentally just so much growth from so many people who have had access to plant medicine, and it's been amazing to see. And I know that the work needs to go out further, but I also think that I really want to get more information before I try to do anything like this. And so I'm trying to think about going back to school for like art therapy and maybe be able to do like some like microdose painting classes, or maybe even like bonfires or botanical garden trips where again we're in a safer space, we're able to facilitate something that's healing but also nurturing. I feel like sometimes taking mushroom trips alone can be a lot. That's why I come here on live and hang out, because again, you're kind of like teaming with all this emotion or all this energy. Like you really never know what a mushroom trip is going to give you every time. Like sometimes if your body is too tired, it will just give you rest. Even if it's a mushroom strain that's supposed to give you a lot of visuals, it will absolutely choose to love you in the way that is realistic. And that is by putting you the fuck to sleep so that you don't overexert yourself, because mushrooms do give you a lot of energy to do a lot of things like see visuals and shit like that. But some mushrooms, or many of them honestly, they are aware. Like that's the thing about them. Like plants are aware of shit, y'all. They can smell, they can sense light, they can talk to each other. And because life only started one time on this planet and has never stopped, I truly believe that the plants have a sense that the humans have to tap into, that we must learn from them, or we must learn a language from them. And so the way that the plant really moves inside of you and will really put your ass to bed because you really do not have the energy to do much more. Or the way that the plant will have you feeling kind of drunk because your body is in so much pain. It needs that like relief from your nervous system. But I feel like my phone about to die, y'all. I've been having a lovely time chatting with you, truly. I feel like the second thing I was looking into is becoming a barber. Just because I honestly like, I feel like there's something about cutting hair. It just looks so cool to me and it's so exciting. I also feel like there's something about taking something away. Like I've thought about being a braider, but bitch, my hands be tired braiding my own head. So I don't see it. But barbering, cutting people's hair, being able to give somebody, you know what I mean, the gift of a new do, that sounds fun as fuck to me. And I've always, like, I remember when I used to get my hair cut by the barber down south, I used to love going into that shit because they would be in there laughing and cutting up and acting a fool. And again, I love the environment of motherfuckers just talking shit. But there's a part of me that feels like, what does it look like to have a queer barber, you know? What does it look like to have a space where, like, we're playing like fucking T.S. Madison and we're fucking enjoying just poetry from all the girls, like where we're like actively like playing James Baldwin on the TV. What kind of space would that be? And so I'm trying to just dream about like what signifies like what kind of place I would want to be in as an elder, what kind of place I would want to be around. And I'm thinking about like fucking Nickelodeon Hey Arnold type shit. Like I'm thinking about how like, Mr. Kakashka, and I'm thinking about Eustace. I'm thinking about all these elders and where they're at, and a lot of them just remove themselves from community. A lot of them just hide out, or they're they're stuck with somebody because of, dot, 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 bitch. Like, people be stuck for all types of reasons. But I'm trying to just think about, like, what does it look like to be living exactly how I want to? And I do not know. Like, there's a lot of things I'm thinking about, and it's exciting. And I also feel like I want to reach out to this bitch that I was playing with, because I definitely talked to somebody about going back to college, and I was definitely trying to play. I was definitely playing with her when I was thinking that it was a waste for her to try to go back to college. Like, I feel like such a hater because it's like, damn, how exciting that she's like 60 and she thinks like She's got it in her to learn a new skill. Like, how fucking exciting. But don't get me wrong, y'all. Like, ageism is hard. It's hard. We be really, you know, we be down the street from a bitch's age and be thinking that, that bitch is old. And like, whole time, like, what a gift to be able to make it that long and even believe you have more to learn. Like, I actually should have celebrated her, but I'm grateful that I'm there. Honestly, I'm just in an introspective ass moment. My period is bumping, and we got a fucking we got like a new moon in Virgo, babe. So get your healing on, babes. Do things that involve healing, rest, salves. Okay, Virgo can be a perfectionist. Focus on making mistakes, and make them and laugh at them and have fun. Virgo is the hermit card for a reason, bitch. Go within. Remove yourself from community and start to ask yourself, what do you really want? What makes you happy? Where do you feel at home? What place feels like a place you can really thrive and spread out? Virgo asks us like where we can make mistakes and still be worthy. That's what I truly believe. But anyways, I love y'all so much. I appreciate y'all for fucking with me. I'm gonna be back later. I just came to kick it for the community. But yeah, thank y'all for listening. Bye.